Chapter number 2, strategic analysis. We'll be discussing in two angles, and chapter 2 is here covering with external environment. So, chapter 3 will be covering with respect to the internal environment. Okay. When we go for defining strategy, we were just saying that you have to analyze the environment first. Okay. And not only that, we were discussing many other points also. Okay. But we were saying that you have to analyze the environment first. So when we go for defining the environment, we define in two angles. One is micro or macro, or the other way, internal to the company, organization, or external to the organization. So here we are discussing with respect to external to the organization, which we define it as external environment. Okay. Who are not inside the organization will be called as external to the organization. Okay. So here we'll be discussing all these headings. What do you mean by strategic analysis? Strategic and business environment. How you define that? And please try to understand, if you say it's your organization, it's not your organization. Actually, it's your product. And how are you going to market your product in the industry? So you have to understand your product and also the industry. Okay. And you have to do the environment industry analysis. Then we'll discuss on these terms. Whom do you call as market, and what do you call as market, and whom do you call as customer? And ultimate aim to define the strategy is to be competitive. So we'll go for competitive strategies. So it's a basic introduction, but in each and every chapter, I request you to go for line by line introduction. Okay, if you go line by line and word by word, it will be very helpful to define terms. Okay, so probably I'm not going to go line by line. I'll just go some few lines like, see, I want to go here. Organization, how you distinguish based on the size. Okay, depending on that, only you're going to define the strategy based on the size, type of products that produce or manufacture, what is the market, geographical coverage, legal status, and vast organization diversity. So when we talk about Mahindra and Mahindra, so our case is on Mahindra and Mahindra. So when we talk about Mahindra and Mahindra, that's what we are going to analyze about the pestle analysis. Actually, there is a weakness for Mahindra and Mahindra which says that it is having less global presence. Okay, which means it is exporting its goods in other countries, but not throughout many countries. So it's having a less global presence. So geographical coverage is somewhat compared to other steel and other automobiles having less coverage. Okay. Whatever the size or other distinguishing feature may be, they do not operate in vacuum. So something is happening in the organization, right? So it just goes away like this. And I want to focus on these two lines. Drawing an analogy with the term atmosphere, one could envision layers of such influences. Which are the things will influence? For example, we'll be doing here the cluster analysis. What are the factors that will influence my external environment? P is political factors will be influencing. E is economical factors will be influencing. S is social factor, socio-cultural factor. T is technological factors will be influencing, and L legal factors will be influencing. E environmental factors. So all these put together is what you call as the atmosphere. So if you define what is this atmosphere, how it is being influencing, then you will get the clear layers of such influences so that I can correct myself. Or I can take it as an opportunity or whatever it is. Okay. So we'll go in this angle. We'll just go for this figure. It's a beautiful one. It's my firm's internal environment. It's my own organization. Okay. Outside of the organization, I'll have customers, I'll have suppliers, I'll have why not government, SEBI, other authorities, income tax authorities, etc. I'll be having all the other persons. See now, so many raids are going in so many celebrities' houses, right? So these are all is covered under firms stakeholders. Stakeholders means who's having a claim. Okay, stake is having the meaning claim. So stakeholders means any of the other they are related. Customers, how they are related? How the customers are related? Because they buy your product. How the government is related? Because they are asking for findings. Okay, you just report this one, report that one. Okay. How the suppliers are related? They supply the goods. How the buyers are related? Because they buy. The customers buy the goods. How the suppliers are related? They supply the raw material. Okay. So they all put together will be called as the firm's stakeholders. Okay. And there will be some force will be supporting you, and that will be not only you, for other industry players also. So there will be industry shaping competitive force will be there. And if you check what are those forces in a wider angle, it will be political. So you can have clearly as pestle in short, but it's not exactly pestle. We'll go in a wider angle. Pestle is just political, but what they say is domestic, politico, legal. Okay, it's not just what social, it is socio-cultural because cultural diversity is there, especially when we talk about our own nation, India, we have this cultural diversity. Okay. Economics, economic, demographic, we have about the population, ecological and technological environment. These are all put together. And if you go one step ahead, it's not the political factors happening in India alone is affecting our country. It's even the international factors affect our country, right? Obviously, suddenly there is a change of political nature in America. We are suffering here or we are getting benefited here. Okay, so international, political, legal, social, and everything will be considered. So this is domestically considered, this is internationally considered. Okay, so this is how we can understand the environment. So when we go for defining a process formulation, how you formulate the strategy, generally you start like this. You start with analyzing the environment. So this is how it goes. First step, if you go for like stage by stage. Actually, we are covering this topic in topic number 5, chapter 5. Discuss over there. First, we analyze the environment. Okay. Then we will go for different alternatives. We will not directly go and say this is my challenge. We'll go for trying all the alternatives. What are the consequences? We'll go for some rating and all. Okay. Then we'll go for strategic formulation, which means we'll select a one, particular one. Else then we'll go for selection. Depending on the alternatives. So usually we'll go for two or three alternatives. Among that, we'll select one. And after that selecting, we'll go for implementing the strategy. After implementing, we'll not stop. The fifth stage is a very important stage where we evaluate because we have a vision goals and all, and we have to align we have aligned our strategy with respect to these things. And if I go for implementing, after implementing, I have to evaluate and check whether I'm going in the right path. If I'm not going in the right path, then I'm not having proper control of that. So evaluate and check whether you're having proper control. If it is not under proper control, either you have to correct your path, else you have to change the strategy because the environment has changed. Sometimes you are properly defining that is, you're properly forming the strategy, you're properly implementing the strategy, but the environment is different. You formed it clearly. Okay, please try to understand. You formed it clearly. You find all the alternatives correctly. You find the correct selection. You properly implement it. But all this has happened with the environment which you analyzed earlier. Now the environment is totally different. What are you going to do? You have to change the strategy. You cannot say I have worked so much on the strategy. No, I'll do the strategy. You cannot do that. So that's what you call as evaluation and control. Whether you're implementing the strategy, one thing is you're implementing the strategy as per the formulation, first thing. Second thing is the environment the same. Even though I'm implementing now, I might have framed the strategies in 2 or 3 years before, but still, see, strategy is long-term planning. Okay, not only long-term planning, it's long-term execution work also. Implementation also takes a long time. You cannot say that I have planned so and so. It's not like the one-day program I'm doing it. It's like day-to-day activities of your organization, of your management. So you have to clearly analyze, and analyze. Even though you have selected the strategy and implemented. Okay. So its main objective is to compile information. I'm just highlighting a few words. I'm not going line by line. Okay. Compile the information about both internal and external. Okay. So you just check what are the possibilities are there and how it's going to affect your thing and all. Okay. So this goes with the normal one. You go for strategic analysis. Usually we think when we go for strategic formulation, it's just the managers, they think, okay, intuition. Okay, how do you get this result? I thought this may be happening, so it happened. No, it's not that way. Okay. So you cannot just can say that it is an intuition. It may be intuition, please highlight. They say it's not a task that they get by intuition. Along with intuition, we have to take some opinion, some instincts, some creative thinking. Everything has to be done along with the analysis of everyone. Without analyzing the environment, even though you say it's an intuition, it's an instinct that you're doing this one, no, that's not going to be helpful. Is it okay? And sometimes when you go for the judgments, you should flow directly from analysis of external environment and internal sources and capabilities. You cannot say that this is working good. How do you say this is working good? If the environment is the same, you say it's working good. If the environment is not same, you cannot say it's working good because the environment has changed. So you have to somehow alter the strategy. If you're not altering the strategy, if you're working with the old strategy, means that clearly shows a failure. Is it okay? So let me take over. So it's a formal structure to collect meaning information. Compiling information means what? We gather all the information. That's why we do test and analysis. Whenever we go for analysis of environment, first and foremost thing is test and analysis. This is for external environment. There's one analysis called as SWOT analysis. Yes, you can help me out. S for strength, weakness. These two are involved with internal analysis. That's my strength, my weakness for the organization. Whereas if you go for ONT, opportunities and threats, that's the external case. So along with PESTEL, opportunities and threats also will be considered. So whenever you talk about an organization, each and every organization will be doing both PESTEL analysis and SWOT analysis. First thing, SWOT analysis, because it is describing both internal and external. But just think, you are just very new to your industry now. You are a new player. How you will know about your strength and about your weakness? So what we'll try to understand here is SWOT is not sometimes helpful. So what we do is we'll go for PESTEL. So definitely a company will have both SWOT and PESTEL. First thing. Second thing, in case if I am in a competitive industry, or definitely I'm not going to work independently. I'm going to rely on other rivals and competitors also. So in that case, I'm in a competitive environment. So what I'll do is I will go for analyzing the environment not only of mine, the other rival also. I will check what is the weakness of the rival, and I'll check if this is the strength. Then this will be definitely going to be a competitive strategy. Probably if I give the example of Toyota and Ford, you remember Toyota and Ford company. Toyota was working for 2 years to find what is the weakness of Ford. Once it found the weakness of Ford, so it was not analyzing itself because Toyota is already very established. It's a Japanese company, okay, it's already very well established. We need to fight with Ford in the competitive environment. So I was planning to find the weakness of Ford. So once it was the weakness of Ford and strength of Toyota, it was correctly matching the criteria. Okay. So also when we go for tax regulations, these are all external, like tax regulations, I have to follow everything, and how the entrepreneurs are and managers are treating this one, how the opportunities, sometimes it happens like we cannot utilize all the opportunities. We'll be missing something and we'll be facing some unanticipated hazards. Usually the future, you have to anticipate and define a strategy, but sometimes it happens that you cannot anticipate because it may be like on a sudden was there some earthquake, and today we got a news that during this prayer in the morning, during the prayer in the morning, a school building has fallen down. Yeah, continue. So sometimes what happens is there may be a lot of opportunities in the environment, but I cannot utilize all at the time, okay? Because I may be already doing a project. I may be in a mindset to take one or two projects. If there are so many opportunities, is it possible for me to tap all the opportunities? So sometimes it miss. And the main reason why you're missing is because it is unanticipated. Okay, not only opportunities are unanticipated, sometimes the hazards are also something we have taken a project and everything is not going the right way. So something, some faults are happening in the outside environment. I had to tackle with that. Okay. So the majority of the rapid expanding operations uses strategic planning throughout various stages. Please highlight. You may get this as sports question. Okay. So you may expect like this. So when you go for the organized section, usually we'll go for this triangular structure, right? Hierarchical structure, top, middle, and bottom. This is the normal structure. Many say that only the top management is defining the strategy. So they are the responsible person for defining, and the lower management, that is what the bottom level employees and bottom level heads. So they are going to implement, so they're just the implementers. No, you cannot say that. When we talk about defining strategy, we have to define in each and every level. For example, let me go for one small example. If I am planning to go for merger, which level is defined here is top level. If I am planning to go for what digital marketing, so which level is defined here is the lower level. So lower level is what we have. We'll be having different departments, right? Accounts department, HR department, production, what marketing. So if I'm talking about digital strategy, so this is directly dealing with the lower level. If I'm talking about merger, acquisition, or the production department over here says that demand is now increasing. So it's a time we have to tap the demand. It's an opportunity lying outside. So it's a demand. We have to tap it now. If you're not tapping it, then we'll be losing in the future. So obviously, this will be led to the top management. So the top management is planning to go for investment, which means what? Expansion of business. Expansion is not geographical expansion or market expansion, but have to buy that first. Okay. Obviously, it looks like production strategy, but obviously, who has to give the nodding here? The shareholders, because we need to have money. Okay, you may not be having or you may not have planned for this asset, probably buying a machinery or something. Buying a machinery is not a small thing. And you cannot immediately say that I'm going to buy a machinery because there are so many technology changing And if you're buying a machinery today, after 1 year, the technology is changing. It's a old machine. It becomes technological asset. Absolute means outdated. So what happens here is you have to plan in such a way. So it's not just going to happen in one stage, it's happening at various stage of the operations. Okay. So actually we'll say this as a methodological approach. We'll just check which is the right resource investment. You remember resource mobilization. You just try to recall all the 5 points of strategy, defining strategy. You get it. Okay. So it will be assisting the business how you're going to achieve the objectives. Two important situation considerations will be usually taken here. Okay, this is an important line. Industry and competitive conditions, and whether my organization is having my own capabilities. I'm competent to do this. Okay, whether my organization is having the resources, what is my internal strength, what is my weakness, and market position. See, here we'll not discuss about opportunities or threats because we are talking about own. Own means internal. But whereas if you go for industry and competitive conditions, it becomes external. Is it okay? Please, what do you mean by external? Is it is applicable to me? It's applicable to you. That's external. It's applicable only to me. The resources, even though there is a lot of resources outside, but how much I can own. There's a strength, but it's internal to me. Okay, so this is clearly dealing with internal point of view, and this is clearly dealing with external point. So this is how you can remember the points. Okay. So if you go over here, you analyze, you can go for external analysis and internal analysis. But whether you're doing external or internal, you have to be very clear because strategy has to be aligned with vision, goals, and objectives. You have to be very clear in what's the vision, what is the vision, what is the goals, and what is the strategies. When you go for defining or analyzing, you identify the opportunities and threats, and along with that, you identify the strength and weakness. This is put together is what you call as the strategic analysis. Okay. Actually, this intro is a bigger intro which gives intro for the next topic also. Because when we are going to define analysis, we are going to define environment. Which environment is common definition, but when we go classify the environment, we go for internal next. Right. Okay. So it's an analytical sequence like which one has to be done to which one and so on. So depending on all these, you go for evaluation of the alternatives and you go for the final choice of strategy. Finally, see every time, each and every time we go for not direct one strategy. We'll just define two or three at least. Okay, alternative means what? Comparing. You need to compare which one will be more suitable. Okay, sometimes it happens. Now you might have heard of most of the IT companies, they are retrenching their staffs. They're sending away the staffs, laying off them. The reason they lay off is because of artificial intelligence. Okay, most of the jobs, if there is small error happening in any technical side or anything, happening in one customer side or in one project side, the AI is taking care. The AI is taking care of it, then what's the role of the human there? If it is really necessary, if it is manually, it has to be taken care of, means the humans are working, the individuals are working. But most of the cases, AI is taking care. And another, probably another 2 or 3 years, completely will be worked by AI. So humans are not at all needed. So we don't know what's going to happen in the IT industry. Probably will be full-fledged in the production industry. Because somehow or the other, you have to eat. Okay. Even Shukla, he goes to the space, he carries halwa and goes. Okay. Even he wants to have halwa over there. So at one point of time, we need production. We need a sophisticated life. But even though AI is there, the production will be done by AI. All the robotic work. Okay. Okay, so these and all you can manage. Accurate diagnosis is necessary. Okay. Probably we are planning for a long-term direction. And yes, please highlight this one. Crafting a winning strategy. I want to highlight. It's not designing a strategy. What do you mean by designing and crafting? Okay, I'll just give you an activity. I'll ask you to take a paper, a A4 sheet paper, and I ask you to draw a person. Okay, probably you just see your figure in front of the mirror, you draw yourself, or you draw any person. How the drawing will look like? Are you an artist? If you are an artist, probably you will have all the strokes very clearly. If you ask me to draw, I'll clearly draw a very simple person. Okay. இதுவே கொஞ்சம் ஏடாகூடமா தான் வரும். Okay. What I'm trying to say here is, if you ask me, give me an activity, if you ask me to do this, this is the maximum output I can give. But this cannot happen in a strategy. Strategy is you're so much putting your efforts, you have to win the situation. So you're not going to design it, instead, you're going to craft it. சிலையை செதுக்குற மாதிரி சின்ன ஹேர் வந்து தலையில வந்து விழணும் நெத்தியில அந்த ஹேர் கூட தனியா தெரியும். Even a small strand of hair, that length wise, that color wise, everything should be there. And for the eyes, how we have to craft. Okay. So each and everything. So crafting is something which you are step by step, point by point, you're not giving any excuses because you want to define a not a normal strategy, a winning strategy. That's why Toyota was waiting for 2 years to identify what was the weakness of Ford. Because if it is going, no, no, we are going to expand globally, we'll just take over the US market. If it is in such a sudden it's doing means definitely it cannot win. Okay, and moreover, not only for this strategy alone, most of the strategies, Kaizen costing, cost effectiveness, zero defective effect, just in time, all these are taken care of by Japanese. They are defining actually this one, just in time inventories. Just in time inventory, right? Directly bringing to the they're not this EOQ model, EOQ model. What is EOQ? Economic order quantity. Economic order quantity will talk about the storage cost, we'll talk about the ordering cost, and we'll try to minimize both. So, how much batch we have to order so that it will be minimized. This is about economic order quantity. But this concept will not at all applicable for just-in-time inventory because just-in-time inventory works only on ordering cost. It's not working on carrying cost because you're not going to stock the material. Directly you feed it inside the machine. Okay, so this is how they are managing. This is all Japanese. Kaizen costing Japanese technology. Okay, zero defective Japanese technology. They go for continuous improvement. Okay, so you can just have a look on these things. And yes, please highlight this line. You may expect this as a quotes. The strategic analysis is a continuous process which is not without limitation, which means what? It has limitations. Because the environment is changing, right? Environment is not a static one, it's a dynamic one. The environment is changing. So how can you say yes, once we have defined we'll do it? No, you cannot do that. It's a continuous process. You have to analyze, you have to keep in touch. So you have to take two major limitations here. One is it gives a lot of innovative options. Probably you might be thinking, I will go this way, but the next time or the next month or next year, you may be getting different options, which will be innovative. Okay, so you are now under a tough situation. You're going to continue the same or you're going to change it. Sometimes continuing the same will be helpful because it's very time consuming. You have already worked for 1 year, and if you work for another 2 or 3 months, it's going to be successful. So sometimes what happens is the old one which you're working is not at all effective. Then why are you going to put another 2 or 3 months effects over there? Okay, so you change it. Okay. So the options can be overlapping, confusing, or difficult to implement. It's not so very easy. So this is one major limitation. Second limitation is time consuming. Okay, so probably it's not properly functioning or is giving a strain. Strain means what? It is giving more pressure. Is it okay? What are you going to consider while defining this, while going for considering the strategic analysis? Usually you'll face some issues. What are those issues? When you go for defining strategy, we have defined this as long-term planning, right? So long-term planning means it's not going to happen at a certain particular period of time. It evolves over a period of time. So, what are the different factors that might be affecting or constraining? Constraining means what? Restricting my strategy, or it may be affecting my outcomes of everyday decisions. So, I plan that. See, this one problem. Rakesh Sharma was facing this issue, right? His problem was all the customers are shifting for online. So he is also planning to go for opening an online app. So if each and every person are buying in online itself, then why is going to have salesperson over there? Probably one person is there to collect the money and everything, and we need not have so many persons working there, right? So he has to constrain. So it's affecting my decisions. So there is a plausible outcome. And the current strategy, what you have designed, is obviously I have designed, but it's protracted period of time. What do you mean by protracted means? It was available or applicable only for a particular period of time. Okay, I'm not giving the exact English meaning. Okay, I'm just sometimes you cannot take the exact English meaning always. You have to go with the phrase. Okay, so they have to change the strategy. So when they try to speed up the organizational growth, else we have to miss something. Okay? So this is the first one, first issue. Second issue, sometimes is again a problem. You are planning for your internal policies and something like that, and something is happening outside the environment. Yeah. So how you are going to balance both the factors? So this balancing means, say you cannot always easily say. Sometimes when we have conflicting challenge, you have to face it. Okay, because you have to bring a perfect fit. This is what you call a strategic match. Okay. So they must consider opportunities, influences, constraints while taking a strategic decision. They have to check for the factors which is driving the decision. Like you're entering into a new market like Toyota and Ford was there. And you have to check what are the constraints that limit your option. Probably there is a large opponent. Again, Ford's a large opponent. Okay. And you have to check on what degree it's going. Yeah, it's a beautiful point. I request you to highlight. These other things are all you can manage. Okay, you have to check how far it's going to affect. So you have to know the strengthening of that situation, the volume, significance of the impact, what is the consequence of the impact. And not only that, you just not going to check all this. Also, you're going to check whether you're going to manage this one. So sometimes it is happening beyond your capacities. Okay, you're not capable for that. So obviously here we are not discussing in this way, but in the next chapter we'll say this is a threat for you because it's beyond your capabilities. Third one, shall I take over? It's about the risk. How you're going to maintain a balance. Okay. Probably the complexity is different, intermingling of variables. So one variable is not the same. I may be saying that I'll be fixing less profit for my product. If you're fixing less profit for your product, you're giving less salary for the employees. We should not do, right? Okay. You say to the employees, see, we are giving only the cost price of our thing is this one. So I'm talking about this equation. Okay, I'll fix this one bit less so that my selling price is less. No, you cannot do this. Okay, what you can do is obviously you can lower your profit. At the same time, you have to check on how the cost price can be lowered, how the cost price can be controlled or reduced. This is how we can discuss. So, one variable and another variable is going to be depending on it. That's what I call it interdepending. So, we are using the term here as intermingling. We usually call this as interdepending so that my strategic balance is now affecting. Okay, and also you have to check what is the competitive market, how the liberalization policy is there, how the globalization policy is there. It's a boom or a recession period. Any technological advancements are taking over. See now the AI is a big change is happening in the environment. Okay. And inter-country relationship, how far we have the relation. Okay. How India is maintaining the relationship with foreign. There is Germany, UK, okay, all the other nations, okay. And how it is affecting the business and posing a risk at varying degrees. See, it's not single case for everything. You have for each and everything there will be a weightage difference. Okay. So a broad classification that requires consideration is analysis is given below. Okay, please try to understand this one. Here we are defining in terms of time, one may be in short time, one may be in long time. And the risk may be external and internal. How do you define if the term is short and it is external, which means what? Happening outside, right? So errors in interpreting the environment causes strategic failure. Okay, because it's very short time. Okay. When you go for a long time, sometimes you might have planned something, but it's leading to obsolescence. You are planning, say, as I was discussing one example, you are planning to buy a machine. It costs now 5 crores. But in another 1 year period, it's going to become outdated. Absolute. So it's totally waste of introducing this one, right? Or instead, what I can do? I can go for a small third party contractor. So I can plan it this way. This is for long time. If it is short time and internal, okay, then the organization capacity is unable to cope with the strategic demands because it's short time. How far I'm going to manage? So how I'm going to cope up? If it is a long time and internal, then there's an inconsistency, which means what? You have to grow yourself. Inconsistency means what? You're not capable for fitting to that. So you have to match that environment. So the strategies are developed with respect to what internal capacities and preferences can be done. So you push to the next level. Okay. So external risk is on account of inconsistencies between strategy and the forces, whereas internal risk accounts of what account of force because of what you are facing this risk because it's internal, right? Because there is an employee turnover, you are facing the risk. Your resources are limited, you are facing the risk. See, resources limited means in all way, the employees or machinery or whatever it is. So when you talk about the internal risk, you're talking about the account of forces which is affecting only you, which is directly. When it is external, not only I'm facing the issue. See, government is giving a policy where you cannot import or export rice. So who is facing the problem? Not only me. All the importer of rice is facing the problem. So we need to have for defining a different strategy. Okay. So they are giving a list of analysis first. So how we can do this, like what all the things and all. So we go for external analysis and internal analysis. External analysis, customer is an external person, right? Competitor is an external person. Market is external to the thing and environmental analysis. So if you go for customer, you'll classify the customers as different segments, probably age wise or market wise or whatever. If you are in garment business, textile business, in hill stations, you will be manufacturing the material in a different way. Whereas if you go for this side, hot summer where you go for Tichi and down south. You cannot wear with the normal clothing. You cannot go for woolen clothing. You have to go completely for weightless or cotton clothing. See, I'm in textile business, but when I plan for this type of garments making, I should plan for which market I'm targeting for. Okay. If you go completely to the north side, Jammu and Kashmir, you can find all woolen garments only. Woolen and you say that acrylic type of some garments. You can expect that one only. When you come for the south, okay, you can expect this cotton only many times. Okay. Competitors, you'll form a strategic group. See, everybody is not a competitor. You have to form a group who is directly dealing with you, who is directly matching your capacity and is dealing or is competing with you. The performance, the objectives, the strategies, their culture, cost structure, everything has to be discussed. Whereas if you go for market, what is the size of the market? What is the growth of the market? Is the market is growing or what? Probably remember we were discussing this CPG analysis. What is the see the market grows, how far the market level is. Okay. Then profitability and also the entry barriers. Whereas if you go for environmental, technological, government, economic, cultural, demographic, population study, everything is covered. You go for internal. See, these are not whatever you feel you can write it. But internal is not such a way. You are going to be your factors that's going to be affecting your industry organization. So you will do in two angles. One is performance analysis, another one is determinant analysis. If you go for performance, how are you going to say you're performing better? This time we have shown this much profit increase. Yes, profitability. This time our sales is increasing. Yes, customers has been giving good rating for us. So customer satisfied. Product is now qualified, which means what? We are giving better product. Relatively less cost. See, cost price plus profit gives you the selling price. So we are now trying to reduce the cost price, control the cost or reduce the cost price. Then obviously it's going to show you a good profit. Or what you can do is you can expect the same profit or you can reduce the profit and you can show the selling price is reduced. So when the selling price is reduced, definitely you'll get the market base. Okay. And not only that, you are introducing new products or you have good human resources. Okay, HRT. Determinants is you have to determine, right? Factors are differing. See, these are all performance analysis from which you get the factors. Factors are differing. Past and current strategies will be there. You have to check what is the strategy you're following. Sometimes past strategies will be helpful because you might have learned so many things from the past strategies. That will be helpful. Okay. And strategic problems, what are those? And organization capabilities has to be checked. Financial resources has to be checked. And what is your strength and weakness? Okay. All this put together is here we call as opportunities, threats, strengths, and strategic uncertainties. Please try to highlight this one. Strategic uncertainties. Because we don't know what is happening. That's why we call as uncertainties. And here strategic strength, weakness, problems, constraints, and uncertainties. Okay. Can you find the difference between the two columns? Here and here. Here is internal, right? That's why we have strength and weakness. Here is external, right? That's why we have opportunity strengths and along with the trends. Okay, different trends we have. So how it is being done? You identify the strategic alternatives, you select the strategy, you implement on the operating plan, and evaluate and control, review. Okay. So all these things are discussed over here. So I'm not going this para again. See, completely this is discussed over here. So it will look like going number of lines, but it's the same content what I have discussed. You can please go through to here. 2.3 strategy and business environment. So these are the basic starting lines. You can manage it later. Please try to understand this chart. Like this is actually we have defined. See what do you mean by strategic management? The management usually when we say the management is the top management. They are the actual definers. Okay, they define the strategy with the help of the resources what they have. Before defining the strategy, they will analyze the environment. So this is how strategy and environment is connected. Okay. So strategy and business environment. So when we look out this business environment, nature can have this heading noted. It's highly dynamic, not just dynamic, it's highly dynamic and it's continuously evolving. So what a strategist do is who we call a strategist? Who we call a strategist? Actually, even though there is a top management, see, top management may not be in a better way to define a strategy always. Okay, because sometimes we want to have an outside look, like out of box thinking. So what they do is They'll appoint a person inside the organization as strategist, or they will have a consultant outside the organization, a third party, and he will be defined as strategist. But see, I'm appointing a third party as a consultant or as a strategist is highly costly. So what I do is I have a person inside, particularly I name a director or one top management KLP where he'll be defining everything. And this strategist, their role here is they will provide an interface. What is the organization capabilities? What is the opportunities? What's the challenges? So that we deal with this involved. So this is the role of the strategist. So you can have this heading role of the strategist in defining the environment and defining the strategy. Okay, so it is involved with choosing a long-term direction. This close and the continuous interactions there between the business and the environment is a normal point. Okay, so how is going to help the business? You determine the opportunities because when you go for analyzing the environment, you're actually determining what is the opportunities like and what is the threats we have to eradicate. Okay, and give direction for growth and we go for continuous learning. I'm not going line by line. Okay, because if I go line by line, nothing because I almost have discussed most of the things here. Okay, image building. Yeah, this is important. It's so very important that you're going to define the strategy, it's okay, but how far this is going to bring a brand like for you? So we have to build the image, right? So in case there is a shortage of power, many companies what they do is they go for setting up this captive power plants. For example, we just 2 days before this Zintol Steel and Power Company changed its name to Zintol Steel. Okay, most of the companies, because of the shortage of power, they go for manufacturing their own power. Okay, not manufacturing, they go for transforming as the usually the waste and all what they do is the waste water and all what they do is they have their own captive power plants inside the factories. Okay, they will not borrow from others. Okay, so they will take the required power from there, and if there is a steady surplus, probably they will store it or they will sell it to the government. Okay, so this is image building. And next is how you're going to meet out the competition. So this is normal. You're going to formulate your own strategy. Please understand when we go for crafting, it's not designing, right? It's crafting the strategy. You're crafting to win the strategy, to win the competitive environment. So winning is not very easy because when we go for defining, it should be unique, which is unique to you. And another person should not copy. If he's trying to copy, that is, he's trying to imitate. We not use the term copy. We say it's imitating. Okay, imitating. So if he's trying to imitating means it has to take a long time for you for him to imitate. Okay, for example, we go for this good night liquidators. Okay, first time good night is a company which brought this liquidator. And if you now go for the supermarket and see all the companies have liquidators. Okay, go for the soap, especially Pierce soap. You know the Spears ad? You have seen this ad. So there will be a mom. She'll be giving birth to the baby. That baby will take the Spears soap in the hand. That kid will be looking from one side, and the other side can see the mom's face. So this is how the Spears ad is defined because it's defining the transparent texture of the soap. Not only the Pierce, Apollo, MedPlus, they have their own brands with similar shape, similar transparent structure, similar color. Okay, if you use only, we'll know how it is going to be. See, same yellow color, same blue color. You just next time when you go for visiting supermarket, you just have a look on all these things. Toothpaste, same whitening, same salt or mint, the same thing. Good night liquidators, the same type. Motive, good night strategy is another one company. So everybody are doing the same thing. But the problem here is I did it first. That's about winning the strategy. I did it first. Yes, obviously my competitor also did it, but it took time for him to do it. So it definitely cannot say it's not imitable. It's imitable. We can imitate it, but you should not do it immediately. You should take some time for the competitor to understand what he is doing it, what technology is using it, how he is implementing it. So after learning all this, then definitely you're going to stand in the market. Okay. But if you think this way, this was not going to make always a success because you know about this KFC chicken. How do you like KFC chicken? This crispy fried chicken. Okay, actually, this is not crispy. This is Kentucky's fried chicken. See, KFC is see. There's many long years KFC there. Before KFC, we had this Mary Bro. Heard of this Mary Bro? The same texture, the same thing, everything was bought, and this was the person. He was the person who introduced this type of chicken. Usually, if you say chicken, which one you take? Which one you tell? Even in the local market, or even go for the five-star hotel. Default, you order 65. Even though you cook at home, what we do, we'll see list, we'll not understand the list in all different names. What we'll do? Chicken 65 order for you. Whether it's a star class order or whether we go for a roadside shop, always chicken 65 is the normal thing. But after Mary Brown came first, before KFC, Mary Brown came first. Mary Brown introduced this crispy leg piece and all. Okay, after that KFC introduced what? KFC is there, but not in India. After the later period only KFC came inside. Mary Brown went away. Now KFC is succeeding in this leg piece, crispy leg piece. See, actually, we are thinking that we are going to be the first player to introduce this product in the market, but time has to be favorable, right? Okay. Okay. Yes, it release organizational resources also, but how far the challenge is there and how I'm going to face this challenge and what are the opportunities lying and how I'm going to tap the opportunities about. So to find novel and unique strategies to remain in business and succeed, you have to challenge the things happening. Okay, so definitely you'll have an increasing pressure how we are going to develop this business or see already it's a developed business and now there is a competitiveness and we have to strengthen this competitiveness. So strategic analysis overall covering internal and external. Okay, so you can just have a look this bit later. Um, yeah, let me go for this one. When you go for strategic decisions, so this para is focusing on actually strategic management goes with para and para and para. And one para is not 5 or 6 lines. One para is 1 page. Okay, it goes for pages and pages, paras and paras and pages and pages. So that's why we try to distinguish para by para. So this is talking about strategic decisions. So earlier we were talking about the factors which are affecting the strategic decisions. Now we are directly dealing with strategic decisions. So what is the significant aspect behind this is one is why we do this. This is essential because we need to be successful and not only successful, we have to be in the market. Continue. So two things. And two crucial aspect here is how the top management is involving because it's a structure, right? So once the top management is defining and the remaining two management is taking care of implementing means, is this a role over for top management? No. They have to take care. That's what they're talking about. Is this a success is including the function of top management? No, they have to work, they have to form it and they have to work. This is what we are relating with evaluating and control. Okay. And not only that, you have to go for improvising this constantly because the environment is evolving continuously. You have to improvise this constantly. And because of some changes happening, there should be a position that where the manager should be ready to overcome their decision also. So you cannot show your prestige and all over there because one has defined the strategy and another one is wants to override that effect. He has to definitely take care. So the environment is far more dynamic and unpredictable. So far we have done with a wider angle of defining an environment. Normally we are going particularly for micro and macro. So when we go for macro only, we'll go for personal analysis and requirements. So is it okay to continue? Okay, so environment described in terms of opportunities and threats operating in external environment. Apart from the strength and weakness is what we call as the micro. Okay, if we talk about the strength and weakness, sorry, this is macro. Sorry, if we are talking about the strength and weakness existing in the environment, then we call it as micro. Usually we classify as external and internal, but we here define as micro and macro. Okay, so it's categorized as two major micro and macro. So micro, here you can actually define one. Is related to small area or immediate periphery of an organization. Please highlight the stakeholders are also considered here as micro. Because if a customer plans not to buy KFC, then not one customer, all the customers plan together not to buy KFC, then it's the business is gone. Okay. So they're influencing regularly and directly. Directly, not indirectly, directly, and also regularly. Okay. Probably this environment will be having suppliers, consumers, even the marketing intermediaries, competitors also. Please highlight. See, suppliers, consumers, marketing intermediaries, and competitors. So usually what we call here is, see, you remember this figure which I drew already. So this is Mahindra and Mahindra, along with the other players put together is what you call as industry, right? This industry is what is we call as micro because the suppliers are similar suppliers. Similar in the sense that there is a supplier A supplying steel to me. There is a supplier B supplying steel to my competitor. which means the supplier's nature, the business of supplier is same. Consumers, who are the buyers of my product? They are the buyers for the competitor's product also. Consumers. Marketing intermediaries, obviously digital market or whatever it is, and competitor. So you may be having this exclusive Apple showroom, you may be having exclusive Vivo showroom, but there is Purvika which is selling all the mobiles, marketing intermediaries. Okay. And competitors. Obviously, you're competing me, I'm competing you, and there is another person say competing both of us. So it happens, right? Usually, when we go for competitors, there will be like three or four competitors that where there is a strict competition. But when we go in a wider angle, talk about top five and top 10. Because even though we say that he's directly competing, at any point of time, the person in the seventh position will directly coming in the second or third position and competing with us. So that may be a situation, right? So these are specific to the said business and affects its working. Please highlight on a direct and regular basis. So within the micro or macro, what are the issues will be faced? The employees. Okay, how far they cope up with this? What's a problem? Existing customer base. Whether I can keep this customer base along with me or I have to add a new. Usually, when you go for the customer side, I need to keep the existing customer base. I need to add the customer base. But the problem is whether the existing customer base will retain with us. Okay, that's a problem. And how you're going to raise finance investment, debt capital or equity capital, or how you're going to raise it, or without investment, you're going to do anything. Who are the firm suppliers and how are the links between here? Okay. And what is the local community which you are operating here, and what is the direct competition and how are their performance? All this has to be considered. Okay. So we'll go for macro environment. There's a definition for macro environment. You can please make a highlight here is the portion of the outside world that significantly affects how an organization operates, but is typically much beyond its direct control and influence. Shall we go for the elements? Consists of economic, social, cultural, technological, political, and legal factors. So directly you can highlight this word pestle over here. Okay. So what is the relevant environment? So we go component wise and sector wise, how it's directly influencing everything will be considered. Okay, so let me go directly for next page. We go for demographic environment. So we go like a small heading by heading. Okay. What do you mean by demographics is we study about the population. Okay. This is demographic normal term. Okay. Demographic environment is we learn about the population. Okay. So earlier period some 20 years back, let me go in. Some 20 years back. How many households were having two-wheelers? I'm talking about the ladies in their house. Mom, how many were using two-wheelers? Bikes or two-wheelers? Was very less. But now, if you visit each and every house, there'll be two bikes, or there'll be one bike. One bike is the ladies' bike. The what is it? What is it like? Vespa or something like that. Okay. If you go for only males using, some 20 years back, they had the Splendor. This only. Okay. Now it's not the same. What they think is okay. We'll buy a Vespa where both the persons can use it. Male can use it, female can use it. See, now the term is different. See, that's about the population features, the characteristics. They're not changing. Okay. So this may be relating to, so if you go for segmenting, this may be relating to age or gender or income, or you can understand by representing as a specific group. How? Non-veg and veg. There's a, see, this Jain societies, they are not talking any religion and all, okay? This Jainism and all, they have this society like where some 200 or 250 houses will be there in that compound, okay, in that environment. Only Jains will be there. They have their own temple inside, they celebrate everything, they do in a grandeur manner, but you cannot rental the property, not owning also. You cannot rental the property if you are a non-vegetarian. You're not allowed to have. And I'm planning to open a KFC next to that building. Okay. See, you can find many KFCs are open in highways also, but not next to this building. Because it's not going to be a marketing thing, right? Because my customers are not those people. I have to tap another customer base. I should not have this as my customer base. So see, that's a specific group. Depending on the nature, we'll be defining the specific group. So it considers such as race, age, income, education, possession of assets, house ownership, job position, region. Yes, job position also matters. So with respect to job position, region, degree of education, everything matters here. Okay. but the qualities across their homes, demographic variables, so it becomes completely like cultural based, social cultural based. And marketers and other social scientists, what they do is they divide the population depending on the geographic, demographic market makeup, and they also go for, yeah, this is a beautiful line. Okay, please make a note of other things. Are all you can just highlight it. Okay. This is a beautiful line where they are uh, targeting the younger population. See, they're just checking which country has younger population. Will go and target over there. So if you target that type of a country, probably in another 10 or 15 years, the business will be good. Okay, so that's the main thing here. And many multinational companies, they are focusing about the population size. That's why India is very much growing with the economic stability because India is highly populated now. So whenever they go for expanding their business globally, they immediately plan for India because of the population size. Okay. So we go here, what demographic trends will affect the market size, what trends will represent opportunities and threats, and you check all these other factors. Cultural environment. So basic thing, we look at the traditions, values, beliefs, what are the level and standard of literacy, the ethical standards, state of society, how the society is stratified. Stratification means grouping. Okay. What are the conflicts we may be forcing, cohesiveness, and so on. Okay, these are the listing like so. Sometimes it happens like these factors like overlap with the earlier one, right? So we talk about age, race, religion, but even though there is a particular age, if below that age you will have different categories. Uh, Recently, I came to read this article. I think she's from Tamil Nadu only. She's a tailor. Okay, almost like some 50 plus years age old. She has gone as a solo traveler to Everest Base Camp. See, being a tailor, see, going to Everest Base Camp will approximately cost like 5 lakhs around for one person because of full thing and they have to pay for that. Payment itself is like something 1.5 or 2 lakhs. Okay. So being a tailor, she was earning money and she was making this as an investment to go in the future. She's now not a small age, 50 plus. 50 plus is, see, nowadays 50 plus is somewhat equal to 70 plus. Okay. Today I had an argument with my daughter. She was telling that her grandma is more age than me. Yes, obviously. My mom was around 65. Now I am 40 plus. I'm saying that don't see the age by number. See, our organs are differently working and their organs are differently working. Okay. See, in this age, she is planning for a solo. See, this is not because of age, this is not because of race, this is about the change of the social cultural area. Okay. So, if you think that demographic factors and the social cultural factors are overlapping, means no, it's not the characteristics of the population. We are talking about the behavior. Please highlight. Please highlight this. I request you to highlight. We are talking about the behavior and the belief system of that population. So, okay. The consist of factors related to human relationship, how is it impacting the social attitudes and how it is impacting the cultural values and so on. Okay. So, each beliefs, values, norms, and everything are interrelated. So, how can you develop this within the individuals and organization? How it is changing your business environment now, and how it is becoming as a main determinant to function your business, and how you're going to adjust your business relating to the social norms and beliefs. Everything has to be considered. Okay. And not only that, please highlight that last two lines when you go for defining or when you go for checking this environment, now you are in a push that you have to go for defining your mission and objective setting. Now your area is different. You are working in a different environment now. So you have to check how far my vision and mission will be aligned. Okay. Shall I go for economic? So economic means completely we go for macroeconomic side. So all the GDP factors, etc., etc. So we'll go defining with regional level, national level, and global levels. Not only that way, we'll discuss on how the supply of inputs and outputs are there, their cost, the dependability, quality, availability, and how it is affecting the strength and size of the market. The factors which may depend here is the current income, prices, savings. See, just remember all the factors which you discuss in macroeconomics. So everything will be covered over here. Okay, debt and credit availability, income distribution pattern, a beautiful point. Income distribution pattern. So you have to consider how it is prospecting my economic growth and inflation also is affecting inflation or deflated economy. Okay. So when you go for those economic factors, this is all influencing the business organization. Not only the business organization, each and every operation is also getting affected over there. Okay. So you may be discussing with the GDP per capita income, Uh, I read an article 2 days before. Actually, we have surpassed Germany and we are in the fourth place now. Okay. So first place is India, second place China, third place German, and I think Germany, and then earlier it was Japan and then India. Now we have surpassed. Okay. Probably in another 10 to 12 years, probably we are in 2025, 2038, I think. Okay. In another 12 to 13 years, we may be surpassing Germany. We may be in the third place. Actually, we are expecting to become in the fourth place in 2030 only. See, now it's not a 2030, it's 2025. See, they're all working on GDP, but if you check the per capita income, we are very less because highly populated. Okay, so probably in another 10 to 12 years, we may be in the third position, and jumping from third position to second position will be with a tedious job. So in 2050, maybe expecting around second position or something like that. And to say an exact way, see, we are going very speed, in a very speed manner. Probably in 2075 or after 2070, we may be in the very top. We just will see what's going to be our future. So, availability of capital, foreign exchange reserve, growth of foreign trade, strength of capital markets, interest rate, disposable income, unemployment, all the GDP and other factors, like macroeconomic factors, you can just list it out. Okay. Yes, okay. So this is about economy. Then we'll go for political, legal. Yes, we are taking all the political development, the business and economic issues, how it's being politicized, and political morality, state of law and order. See, probably if you go for state of law and order, 2013 and Companies Act is a major breakthrough in corporate laws. Okay. Likewise, we have this insolvency and bankruptcy code, IBC, in the year 2017. GST. This is all major legal reforms we have faced. We are facing and we are implementing in a successful way. Okay, so political stability also defines what's the political ideology, practices of the ruling party. Yes, that's a very important thing. The ruling party also matters here. Okay. And effectiveness and purpose of government agencies, scope and type of government intervention. So how it is being related to specific individual enterprise, it differs. Okay. Okay, so these are all normal lines, taxes and duties. So that's what I was defining with respect to GST. Then okay, so they have a good working knowledge, especially if we go for our own India, we have a good working knowledge and how the major laws are protecting consumers, competitions. So even when a company goes for merger and acquisition, first thing, whether you go for taking the concern from the shareholders, you have to go for taking the concern from the competition authorities. So they are strong with the competition. Okay. And obviously, we have to go for other relevant laws also, like Competition Act, Companies Act, Intellectual Property Act, ITRs, and Foreign Exchange, Labor, and so. So we have this, this Kanchipuram Italy. You have tasted Kanchipuram Italy. We have different types of Italy, right? Kanchipuram Italy is where you'll get a big fluffy Italy, like. Okay, it will not be round in shape. It will be given in different square shape or something, and it's famous in Kanchipuram. Why it's famous? It's dedicated to Perumal. Okay, some particular name Perumal. They are not going to apply this geographical indication. What do you mean by geographical indication? Is giving preference to the name of the place. You say Burma teakwood, Mysore silk, Mysore sandal. So if you add sandal along with Mysore, it gives that speciality of the place. So you could say this Kanchipuram Italy, you give a speciality for the Italy. Okay. So nationalism also supports here how you are going to position your country. So we are saying that we are at fourth level in GDP, fourth place in GDP. So this is all there. So I'm not going line by line. We can manage. Shall I go for the next stage? Technological environment. Yes, we have to go for the tech side also. All our technology, all our business are linked and interdependent on each other. We have to check how far we are managing the situations. Okay. So everything we are doing in app only, right? Whether we order a coffee, whether you order a tea, whether you order any, whatever it is, your basic needs, everything we are using the app. Okay, so it's so very helpful. So not only the youngsters, the earlier generation also, they also started using app. Okay. Recently, I found my mom. She's messaging in a very beautiful way. Her English is so good. Okay, she did her schooling in Tamil medium. After that, she's not okay with. She will communicate in English, but I'm talking grammar part. Okay, she'll communicate in English, she'll speak in English, she'll understand it, but writing that particular grammatical part she's not okay. Oh, in recent days, she's clearly sending some messages I can easily understand. Okay, usually when she sends any message, I'll tell her, you just send a voice message or you text in Tamil itself. I'll try to manage. Nowadays, she's clearly translating with the help of Google and she's sending it. See, even the earlier generation, they are using it. Okay. And nowadays, I'm sending leave letter to my daughter's school using ChatGPT. So new discoveries are also there, and it's giving an advancement of the society. And you have to grow along with the society's advancement. If you're not growing, you're not contemplating. Okay. So you're reducing paperwork, you're scheduling the payments more efficiently, and you're coordinating the inventories. Obviously, you're checking this reorder level and all, and so automatically placing the order. So how the business operations are run because of this technology changes, everything is it clearly in most of the cases it's helping us only. We cannot say it's devastated and not providing good opportunities or not. Most of the cases it's helping us only. So regarding the existing products or services here, so we go here with artificial intelligence, machine learning, robotic process. We say this is RPA, robotic process automation. So most of the things are done by the robot itself. Okay. We are using other new technological tools. So this is about the environment analysis in different headings. Okay. So you can just have a look till here, please. Pestle, sometimes they write this as PSTEL. Okay. So both pronunciation wise same. And you have to remember first we had this pest analysis only. After that, we have to give importance for environment. So E was included and legal. So L was included. So please remember the first E stands for economic angle and the second E stands for environmental angle. Okay. So this is a two. We are going to analyze the macro environment. So we'll be discussing on the factors relating to political, economic, social, technological. This is pest. Along with this, we were see when we say social, it's socio-cultural. Okay. And along with that, we'll be discussing legal and environmental. Okay. So what are the factors that will be influencing our organization, our business? So let me go for the yeah. I request you to highlight this line. The advantage of this tool that it encourages management into proactive and structured thinking. Please highlight that. Proactive and structured thinking. Actually, we have two concepts called as one is proactive and one is reactive. Okay. Proactive is like a precautionary one. Before acting, we will define what we are going to do. We will execute it. But every time we cannot be proactive, right? Because sometimes after taking the move, only you'll come to know what are the changes you're going to, what are the moves we have taken, and what are the changes you're going to define, and you have to act accordingly. Okay. So that's about reactive. Okay. But with the help of pest analysis, the management will definitely know what is the future. Okay, what is the economy currently, what is going to be the future. See, everybody are now interested in investing in India. Okay, all the manufacturing sectors they are highly invited to join with India. Okay, so proactive and structured thinking. So you cannot just like a way you can define it or execute it. You have to be a structured. Okay. So the key factors, first one goes with political. So how the government is influencing, what is the government which requires, and how it's influencing on health, education, and infrastructure and everything. If you go for economic factors, we know this all macroeconomic factors. See, personal analysis is macro environment. So all macroeconomic factors come. So exporting goods and supply, price of the imported goods, money supply, inflation, credit form. So everything you can list it on. Social factors, is how it is affecting company's product. Technological factors, yeah, please highlight. Sometimes I cannot have everything in my hand. All the technology cannot have it. Sometimes I'll go for outsourcing or what. So we are going to check whether you're going to outsource or you're going to go for inbuilt. Okay. So there you have to determine what are the barriers to entry, how it is affecting my position so, with respect to production level, the other outsourcing decisions. Okay, so there is a technological shift, and this because of the shift, my cost is being higher, or probably definitely I may be expecting good quality. There is no second thought because it's not giving me the same quality, or I'm not expecting the higher quality. Means I'm not going to invest. Okay, and how it's going to leading to innovation. Okay, legal factors. Yes, how the company operates, its cost and demand for its products, and how we are going to do the business. Usually, when we incorporate a company, the cost is heavy, the cost is high. Okay. And environmental factors, we go for tourism, farming, insurance, and See, hotel industry, hospitality industry is growing because of tourism only. See, we have many tourists in India. They are not coming to India to just roam about and see the places. They are coming to India especially for taking medical treatment. We have the large number of medical tourists visiting India. So our government is planning to expand this tourism department, and they are focusing on they are developing the nature and scrutinizing, giving infrastructure. The main problem here is even our persons don't have the road tests, proper road tests. So that's why in Kodaikanal and Ooty we have this e-pass system, not in Yerkad or other place. In Tamil Nadu, the two famous hill stations are Kodaikanal and Ooty, so where we are including this e-pass system. Okay. See, for our own people itself, it does not have the places for the cars to be parked and the roads to access. If we invite the outsiders for it, how they will be treating. But one advantage for the foreigners is they go by walk. Okay. So once I visited Ooty, one lady, she is going for 20 to 25 kilometers by walk only. At one point of time, seeing the crowd, she doesn't know what to do and she asked for a lift. Okay, they are just giving a talk. So from where she comes, and she was saying that I just got a place for residing, some not hotel, not restaurant. I'm talking about she has booked a small villa like for 1 month. She stays there for 1 month and she roams about full Ooty. So, see, if you're visiting 2 or 3 days, you have to cover all the places for sightseeing. You're going to stay there for 1 month. So, you walk daily and see one place and come. Then not an issue. So, okay, she was telling that. So, they are not worried about the traffic and all. We are worried about the traffic. But what happens when we worried about the traffic is we are worried about the roads. Okay, even though you need access to that place, you have to give the road facility for the foreigners. So, we are improving on it. So, we are improving an infra. Okay. And so obviously because of these environment factors, we are creating new market and diminishing and destroying is the silent part. It's not only creating new market, or sometimes we have to diminish or destroy the existing ones also. Okay. So if we just have this cell-wise presentation, so when you go for political side, see these are the like listing, you can add and include many others what you want to. One is going to stability, principles and ideology. See, we have discussed all this earlier. You remember the earlier basis we had discussed. Current and future taxation policy, regulatory bodies and processes, government policies, government term and change, trust areas of political leaders. Whereas if you go for economic side, situation and trend, what is the market and trade cycle, specific industry factors, customer and end user drivers, interest and exchange rates, inflation and unemployment, strength of consumer spending. So this is now highly increasing in India. Okay. Social, lifestyle trends, demographics, already we have discussed. Consumer attitudes and opinions. What is a brand? Okay, it is a brand one here, then I'll relay all the brand names and I'll buy it. Okay. Consumer buying patterns, ethnic and religious factors also differs, and media views and perception. When you go for technological side, yeah, beautiful point. You can please make a note of it. Replacement technology and solutions. Sometimes you have to replace it. If you're not replacing it, then it's not going to work out. The technology is maturing, so you have to get ready for updating your technology because if it is a maturity stage, definitely at one point of time it's going to become absolute. Not at one point of time, very soon. Very soon you will get absolute. Then maturity and capacity, innovation. Yes, how far this industry is potential enough to give the innovative products. Okay, so when we talk about this LG mobiles, there is a lot of competition with mobile phones. So that's why it dropped. One reason. Another one reason actually, when they brought this product, three in one, I discussed this one, right? You remember the projector, the lamp, and also what speaker. Okay, all three in one. It will look like a normal lamp only, a long stick and a round one. It will look like a normal lamp, but it's having a three in one. Okay. Where you can use it in all the three ways. If you want to listen to the music, you need not project in the screen. Whereas you can just use the speaker and listen to Bluetooth connect. Okay. So instead of fighting with the mobile phones, let me go in this way. So I'm trying to make innovations, and it's not going to happen in mobile phones because I'm making something innovative, and obviously my competitor is also going to do the same. I bring a pop-up camera, my competitor is bringing a pop-up camera. I bring a flip-flop mobile, another one is also bringing. Then why I need to go this way? So I need to go say I'm ready to innovate. I'm ready to invest in R&D. But what is my potential in the market? How far I can do it in the market? Because everybody's there to imitate in the very next second. And fifth one, technology assets, licensing patents, property rights, and copyrights. Is it okay? Then we'll go for legal side. Yes, corporate laws, employment, we have so much of laws, right? Competition law and health and safety, international treaty and regional legislation. Then for environmental side, we have ecological and environmental issues there, environmental hazards, environmental legislation, energy consumption, waste disposal, and obviously we have now with the Mahindra and Mahindra targeting for 2030's zero carbon neural, okay, network. 2.3.4 internationalization of business, which means we are going globalized. Okay. So now it has become a dominant commercial trend. If you're not globally active, then there is a question whether we can rely on this brand. Okay. So it's a commercial trend like let me go line by line. Okay. It enables a business to enter new markets in search of greater earnings. And also not only that, less expensive resources. Please highlight both the points are equally important. Not only for earning purpose, obviously we want to earn more, that's why we are expanding. But sometimes resources which are available not in India in another nation may be less expensive. So we go and operate a business over there so that we get the raw materials at low cost compared to our. Okay. Especially why many are starting a business in India is because with the IT field, especially salary paid to IT employees less. We may be thinking they are paid more. IT employees in India, we are thinking they are paid more. But comparative to their case, see, you just check in how many how many persons in recent years have gone for foreign for IT job? Very less. See, very less in the sense that we may be talking absolute numbers. Don't talk in absolute numbers. Please relate it. Some 10 years before. Okay. Almost everybody went. If you are an engineer and IT side means every software engineer, then over. Immediately there will be a pitch from other nation and will go immediately. But now that is before 10 years or 20 years. But now in recent days, everybody is getting a job here. Because so many IT agencies are here in our places. And we are not being shifted over their place. The only reason is there it is costlier, here it is cheaper. You are paying, for example, to give a figure, not particular designation and all. If an IT employee is paid 2 lakhs per month, okay. If he goes to their nation and he works, he will be earning equivalent to Indian currency, he will be earning 5 lakhs of it. Because they will be paying in dollars at most. And if we bring that company over here and the employees are working with 2 lakhs, so we are actually they're saving so much. Okay, that's a very highlighted one. So additionally, expanding internationally enables a business to achieve greater economies of scale and expand the lifespan. So the product lifespan is now expanded. Okay. So it's definitely it's essential part. So most of the global firms, when you go for comparative domestic firms, you have to go for expanding because of additional variables or some linkages will be there. You have to go for expanding. You not just stay in something like directly like that. And you identify the opportunities and threats in the global market. Also, you scan the environment and accordingly you develop the effective strategies and formulate the global objective. Yes, please highlight. See, so far, while defining the definition of strategy, we were saying that align with vision, goal, and objectives. But when we go for internationalization of business, globalization of business, we are going to define the objective as per the definition of business. See, you cannot say because of this one or this one. See, now we are defining a business globalized. Now, what you are going to do? Now you define the objective strategically to expand your business. Okay. So characteristics of a global business. Actually, when it is being helpful means we have to refer these three characteristics. First one, check whether it's conglomerate. Conglomerate is diversified in multiple units. Okay. Located in different parts of the globe, but all linked to common goals. First, second, multiple units draw on a common pool of resources like money, credit, information. So continuing with third point, the units respond to common strategy. So the whole organization will have single strategy. So the managers, shareholders may be in different location, different nation. So we are going to develop internationally. Actually, it's expensive and it's challenging also because we have to learn that environment and we have to understand. Because when we talk about this sector analysis has to work for foreign land, that foreign nations. Okay. So you have to just get for trying to get the better approach. That is because optimized approach, ideal approach. So what are the steps involved here? You evaluate the global opportunities. You're not just going to track. Now this news is coming over this Kola Puri Chappal. You came across this news, Kola Puri Chappal. You can just have a check on that. They are getting this brand name damaged because of another brand using the same type of models. One of which was. So you check whether you are capable to establish your business in that globally. Okay, see, opportunities are there. Obviously, threats will be there. And you please check them whether you have the internal capabilities, which means here we talk about the strength, SWOT analysis strength. Okay, so we talk about whether your strength can be matched with that. Okay, then second, obviously, you describe the scope. So you're not going to take all the operations at once, right? You're going to go step by step, phase by phase manner. So you just check or you describe what are the operations you're going to carry over. Third is what's the global business objective now, because it's not just an objective, it's a global business objective. You develop a distinct corporate strategies for the global business and also for the whole. So why do you go global? Already we have discussed this because of technological advance. If I go ahead and go with that, there will be products of technologies and I'm utilizing that technology, I get a better idea. So especially when you go for this MOU with Japan, obviously we are involved in more many ways. Okay, so now Mahindra, if actually I think so if you just go through this news, so here Mahindra and Mahindra to sign the strategic cooperative agreement with Osaka government to facilitate Japanese investment in India, specifically targeting companies in Osaka looking to set up operations in. Okay. Who's entering in this agreement? No, the agreement will see Mahindra Industrial Park Chennai Limited. Okay, Mahindra is a large group. So MIPCL, Mahindra Industrial Park Chennai Limited, is entering with Sumitomo, acting as facilitators. So they are assisting Osaka-based firms with business visits. So this is service-related industry, right? So they are going for business visits, on-ground support, knowledge sharing events. So this is why we want to go global. Okay. So, see, strategic location. Geographically, we are not moving outside. We are inviting them inside. But see, moving globalized is not, I am moving out of India. I'm involving myself with other nations also globalizing. That's why we call it internationalization of business. I'm running a production industry, I'm running a factory, I open outside India. That's also globalization. I invite outsiders to come inside with me and enter into an agreement as Mahindra and Mahindra is doing. That's also globalization. It's not like one day I'm going outside India. I'm in tie up with the other nations also what you call as globalization. Okay. It's a beautiful case. So let me continue. So why we are going global? Why the business do global? Okay. So first, it's explained. First and foremost, reason is we need to grow. Obviously, we are expanding. And not only that, because we are now globalized, we are shrinking of time and distance, right? We can do sit in one place and do everything. Not only that, it's easier to faster and easier to communicate. Transportation source is speedier now. Okay. Before and all, normally to send a letter, it takes 2 days or 3 days or 1 week. And nowadays it's very easy. Again, growing financial flow of funds and rapid technological changes. Third one, domestic markets are no longer adequate. Yeah, beautiful part. We are planning for economies of scale means we cannot completely rely on domestic market, right? We need to expand our business, which means we need to rely on other market also, global market also. And fourth one, yes, raw materials are cheaper, reliable also. We can expand our business there. And sometimes if you go for overseas plans, we will be reducing high transportation costs. Like Tesla has opened a showroom. First Indian showroom. Okay. So we have Tesla over here. So we need not worry about the Tesla need not worry about the transportation cost because it has its go down here in India. It can maintain a stock. Okay. Likewise, Apple has opened in Mumbai. Okay. So sixth point, yeah, when we go for export point of view, we'll find that foreign markets, this is respectively dealing with products, manufacturing plants, and we can go for sales plants like Tesla, Apple. They have gone for a sales branch, right? Only sales they do it. So the rise of services is large single sector in the world, so that also may be a one helpful point. And third one, international, yeah, very important. Probably all on a sudden you cannot go for expanding your business. Probably by phase, probably I first introduce the sales branch, then I'll go for setting up a factory, then I'll go for setting up go down for stocking up the materials of finished goods. So I have to go stage by stage. If I go stage by stage, at that one point of time, it will be easy for me to have a very big market for my brand over there. Okay. So apparent and real collapse of international trade fair redefines the role of state and industry. Okay, less government interference, well, see, if you all on a sudden, if you want to go, means the government will be asking so many questions and be having so many laws. But Now you are doing this face by face manner. So you are getting the liberty to introduce. Okay. And ninth one, globalization is strategic alliances. Strategic alliances is relationship. Okay. So in Mahindra and Mahindra with Osaka government is a strategic alliance. Okay, we are building a see what do you mean by strategic alliance? Please, we have already discussed. Please try to recall. You have a strategy. I have a strategy where I can do my strategy, but without your help or without your support, I cannot completely execute the strategy. Which means to implement this, I need another person's support. This is not only for me, for you also. To implement your strategy, you need my efforts. That is my support. So your strategy and my strategies together will be worked and we get a relationship called a strategic alliance. Okay, please try to recall that we have already discussed. Obviously, technological threats, if any, and leverage is obviously with it. So nine points. Okay, why we have to go globally? Was this okay? Shall I take over the small content? Let me finish it off. Okay. So now we have to discuss this as a international environment. See, what are the things we discussed earlier? Pestle. These are not so far we did with respect to domestic level only. Now we are expanding our business means this pestle analysis has to be done outside India also. So this is about socio-cultural, demographic, and everything are considered with respect to products produced in geographical areas. So, see, products produced is my own, but geographical area produced is different now. Okay, so we go for internationalization. So you can just go through and we do this assessment at three levels. One is multinational, one is regional, and one is country level. Okay, so multinational environmental analysis, we go globalized in a very large scale. We go for covering economic and other macro elements, whatever is there, and how far government is making giving us support, so everything will be considered, and also the future future impact. Okay, when you go for regional environmental analysis, we go for in-depth evaluation of what is that specific geographical area. Even though it's multinational, we had to go for specific geographical area. So, what is the market opportunity for my goods or service or innovations over there? See, earlier and all, when we say product, we were discussing in two angles, goods and service only. Now, the latest is not only goods and service, along with innovation, you have to think. Innovation in goods and innovation in product. So it's like a three-angle job now. Okay. Then country environmental means to that specific country we have to go economical study, legal, political, and cultural dimension. Please check along with that. Okay. So it's about cultural. So it essentially involves various global aspects, etc., etc. These are not normal. So you can manage, I think. So that's about 2.3. So next class we'll continue with